West Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you in our Storm Center. Our severe weather coverage brought to you by Southern Union State Community College. It is the Shepherd's Weather Center. Good evening to you, and welcome into our broadcast on this Wednesday evening, March 16, 2021. And we're here this evening to talk about a severe weather potential coming up on Wednesday and Thursday across East Alabama, West Georgia. As a matter of fact, severe weather threat for a large chunk of the southeastern United States, to include all of the state of Alabama, and eventually I think the state of Georgia will get in on the action as well. So, you know, it is severe weather season, so this is not unusual for this part of the country to go through this. But there are some concerns here, and we're going to talk about all of that over the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. So if you are watching us this evening, we invite you to comment and at least let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions or comments, now's a good time to post those. And after I go through what we're looking at, then I'll take a look at the chat room and I'll answer any questions that you may have. So let's talk about this. First of all, a pretty potent storm system is going to be coming our way. It's what's referred to as a negative tilt upper trough. And then strong wind fills will also help spin up a surface low over Arkansas. Warm, moist, unstable air will cover most of the state with some pretty strong shearing that will be taking place and strong veering that will be taking place in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And so that will be what's responsible for the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. Some of those storms could produce tornadoes. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has most of Alabama under a moderate risk of severe weather on Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. And then southeast Alabama is under an enhanced risk. But the SPC is warning us they may go to a level 5 for those areas that you see in red. So we may actually go to the highest category, which is a high risk of severe weather. They typically update this late in the evening. So later on tonight, we'll get that update from the SPC, and it would not surprise me at all to see at least part of that section of Alabama that you see in red upgraded to purple, which would be that high category. Now, I don't want you to get caught up in the different colors and the different levels of severe threat, because at the end of the day, storms could care less what we humans think about it, and storms will not pay attention to those colors. What you need to leave this broadcast with is the understanding that there is a significant threat for severe weather across Alabama and eventually Georgia on Wednesday night, and into Thursday. Now, all of you folks who are tuned in this evening, listening to what I have to say, you're not the norm. Most people don't pay very close attention to the weather. I think they should, and with your help, they will. So you need to help us spread the word to your friends and to your family that there is a good chance we will see some severe weather on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and into Thursday. So make that phone call, make that text, and make sure that your friends, your family, and your neighbors are aware that we could have severe weather on Wednesday afternoon into early Thursday morning. Just make sure that they know that so that they will not be caught off guard. We'll talk more in just a few moments about how you can prepare yourself and some ideas that you can share with your friends and family and neighbors on how they can protect themselves too during severe weather. But I want to talk about the setup first. You see on the screen there the map that shows the threat area, and like I said, most of Alabama is under a moderate risk, with southeast Alabama being under an enhanced risk. And the timing is over there on the right-hand side of the screen. So over there in West Alabama, from Hamilton down to around Demopolis, that would include Tuscaloosa, The threat will be there from about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon through 2 a.m. Thursday morning. And then for central and north central Alabama, from like Selma up to Clanton, up to Birmingham, we're looking at 2 p.m. to about 4 a.m. Thursday morning. 2 p.m. Wednesday afternoon through 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. And then for the rest of you over in East Alabama and West Georgia, which is where most of our viewers are, places like Anniston, Alexander City, Auburn, Opelika, Carrollton, LaGrange, down into Valley. We're talking 2 p.m., and these are Eastern times, 2 p.m. Wednesday afternoon through 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Now, is it going to storm the entire time? Absolutely not. We're actually thinking right now we may see at least 2, if not 3, different opportunities for strong to potentially severe weather. That first opportunity is going to come tomorrow morning, even before the real severe weather threat starts. But I think we're just going to see strong storms tomorrow morning. I'm talking in the 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. time frame across East Alabama. I think those will just be strong. I don't anticipate severe weather there, though this time of year, anytime you have a thunderstorm, you have to keep an eye on it. So that will be round 1 tomorrow morning. And then as we get into the heating of the day tomorrow afternoon, that's when we could see some isolated storms popping up in the heat of the afternoon across East Alabama and West Georgia. That's anytime after about 2 p.m. And then we will have the main line come through well after midnight, probably more toward 4 or 5 a.m. Thursday morning, and that's where the main focus of organized severe weather will be located. So let me review that again. 3 possibilities here. The first one being tomorrow morning from about 9 to 11 a.m., though I think those will just be strong. I don't anticipate severe weather there. And then in the afternoon, after 2 p.m., scattered isolated thunderstorms that could go severe. They could become singular and become supercell thunderstorms, and those will be widely scattered. Everyone won't see those tomorrow afternoon. But then as we get into the overnight hours, well after midnight, and probably more toward 4 or 5 a.m. on Thursday morning, the main line of thunderstorms will sweep through East Alabama and West Georgia, and that will bring us our best opportunity for organized severe weather along that line of thunderstorms. Now, the caveat to this and the bad news to this is that's going to be coming through in the wee hours of the morning, where most folks will be in the bed sleeping. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you communicate with your friends, your family, your neighbor across the street. Just make sure they are aware that we could have severe weather anytime on Wednesday afternoon, but then again toward the early morning hours of Thursday morning. So if they're going to be in the bed asleep, they got to have a way to receive severe weather information. And of course, that would be a NOAA weather radio. Every home in Alabama and Georgia should have a NOAA weather radio, and then also have a good app on your phone. Now, folks ask me all the time, Dr. Don, what's the best app to use on your phone? And the answer to that is there is no particular app that's better than any other app. What you've got to look for is to make sure that that app will provide you with what's referred to as a wireless emergency alert, WEA, wireless emergency alert. If your app will do that, if it will provide you with alerts for your particular area, most apps do that now, and they'll actually follow you wherever you go. As long as that app will provide that for you, it's good, because it all comes from the same place anyway. And everybody, with a gazillion different apps out there, they all use the basic framework, and all the information originates with the National Weather Service office in Birmingham for East Alabama and the National Weather Service in Peachtree City for our Georgia counties. So it all comes from the same place. The different apps are just different ways of delivering it to you. So if it provides those alerts for you, then that's good. That's all you need on your phone. But make sure you have a NOAA weather radio. I know you get tired of hearing me preach that, but that does not use cellular service. That uses a radio broadcast that transmits from a transmitter and a tower. So it's extremely reliable, and every home should have one. Always get that question too, which one should I get? Well, because there are a number of different weather radios out there and available, but the most popular one right now is the Midland WR120. That's the Midland WR120. If you go to drdonwx.com, I have a whole section of my website that's dedicated to NOAA Weather Radio. It has everything you need to have to program those radios, including the different frequencies, the different county codes that you have to program in there. Most of the newer models of the weather radios pretty much program themselves. They're much easier than what we used to have to do back in the day. But all the big box stores sell these NOAA radios, so make sure you've got one. These things will wake the dead at 2 a.m. in the morning, trust me. And that's what you want if you're going to be going to bed. And most everybody will. You want something that's going to blast you out of that bed and wake you up when a tornado warning is issued for your area. Never, ever, 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 did I say ever, rely on an outdoor warning siren to wake you inside your home or to alert you inside your home. They're not designed for that. They're designed for exactly what they're called, outdoor warning. They're designed to warn you coming out of the grocery store. They're designed to warn you at the football field, the baseball field, the soccer field. That's what they're designed for, to warn folks out on the playground at school. They are not intended to wake you up inside your home at 2 a.m. in the morning with a thunderstorm blaring outside. So don't rely on it. Make sure you got a NOAA weather radio. Okay, that was a soapbox. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and show you the current live radar. This is scanning from the Shelby County Airport in Birmingham. Our live Doppler HD radar is brought to you by Southern Union State Community College. And we just got some light rain out there right now, from about Macon, Georgia, all the way back to just south of LaGrange, down to just south of Alexander City in Alabama, and then back over toward Clanton and down to around Selma and Demopolis and back into Meridian, Mississippi. All of that's pretty much light right now. We do have one thunderstorm cell that's been trying to act up a little bit in the last couple of hours, and that is this one down here to the northeast of Greenville. That's in South Alabama, to the east of I-65. And you notice that this storm has nothing to compete with. And so as it moves off to the east and to the northeast, the National Weather Service is keeping an eye on that. But right now, the conditions down here in South Alabama, not that conducive to severe weather. And then when we zoom on out a little bit further, we do see some heavier thunderstorms over here in Mississippi. And let me just go back to the composite. There we go. And we'll look over here to the northwest of Hattiesburg. We do have one thunderstorm that's producing a possible tornado. That would be to the east of Hazelhurst and to the north and east of Brookhaven. This is over here in Mississippi. And that's moving off to the east-northeast as well. So no severe weather threatening the state of Alabama at this hour, or the state of Georgia for that matter. Everything looks pretty good right now. But again, as we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday morning, we will have the possibility of some strong thunderstorms, again, from about 9 to 11 a.m. Central. And then probably a little lull in the action. And then as we get into the afternoon after 2 p.m., we could have some singular storms out there, scattered thunderstorms that could go severe. And then the main line pushes through well after midnight, probably more like 4 to 5 a.m. on Thursday morning is when it should come through East Alabama and West Georgia. So let me go ahead and run the Futurecast, and this is going to kind of walk you through what I'm talking about. We start this at midnight tonight. You'll see a few heavy thunderstorms down there southwest of Montgomery. But then as we get into around 3 a.m., maybe a shower moving across southern Randolph County there. Here comes 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10. You see that line moving to the north. That's a warm front. That's where we could see a few heavy storms tomorrow morning. And then as we get into the afternoon, you see those scattered showers just splattering around across East Alabama and West Georgia. And then as we get into 2 a.m., 3 a.m., on your Thursday morning, here comes the main show, I think. This is the actual cold front. We've got storms lined up from Clay County all the way back to Tuscaloosa. And this is at 3 a.m. on Thursday morning. And then as we move out there to 4 a.m., you see just copious amounts of showers and thunderstorms there stretching along I-20 back over toward Birmingham, lined up down there just to the west of I-65 all the way up to Birmingham and Gadsden. Northwest Georgia beginning to get on the action there. Here we go at 5 a.m. Heavy thunderstorms now across Clay, Randolph, Cleburne, Tallapoosa, Coosa County. And on the next update, you're going to see that move on into Chambers and Lee as well. And there we go. By 6 a.m., we have showers pushing into West Georgia, moving across East Alabama, and even more showers and thunderstorms now just to the east of I-65, moving off to the west as well. As we move on out there to around 7 a.m., we're still holding on to those storms. This is Thursday morning. Big showers and storms moving into Atlanta Metro. The commute Thursday morning in Atlanta should be horrendous if this verifies. And then big rains up in North Georgia, too, by 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. And by about 9 a.m., we start to see the showers and thunderstorms subside tremendously across East Alabama and West Georgia as well. Everything pushing south of the I-85 corridor by 11 a.m. All right, so let me go back up here to the graphic again. For those of you just joining me, the Storm Prediction Center is issuing a moderate risk of severe weather for a good chunk of Alabama on Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday overnight and into Thursday morning. All modes of severe weather will be possible here, including strong, long-track tornadoes, damaging winds of up to 80 miles per hour, and tennis ball-sized hail. Down there in southeast Alabama, where you see the orange, and that would be from about Auburn down to Eufaula and back over to Troy, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather to include tornadoes, damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and golf ball-sized hail. There is some indication from the Storm Prediction Center that at least sections of Alabama where you see the red now may actually be elevated up to high. And I got to tell you, they don't use moderate and high very often. Now, we are very accustomed to seeing marginal and slight. Occasionally we see enhanced. Every now and then we see moderate. And it's very rare that we see a level 5 high category issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and there is indication that they may at least take parts of Alabama into that high category on their update coming up this evening. Okay, give me just a minute here to get into the chat room. And I'm going to start reading some of the comments and answering questions if you have any. Now's the time to post those questions. Wow, there's a lot of you in there tonight, and I appreciate that. Okay, thank you, Willard Earl. Glenn's watching us in Lafayette, Alabama. There's Sam Bowen. Let's see here. Pamela's watching us in Opelika. Beverly's in Rock Mills. There's my bud Lisa. She is in Prattville. It's a high school schoolmate there. Jimmy Scroggins is watching us this evening. Jeremy Smith. Jeremy is in Cleveland, Georgia. Shout out to my current hometown, Cleveland, Georgia. Lindsay Walker's watching us from Lynette. Deborah Martin is in LaGrange. There's Deborah from Anniston. Kimberly is watching us this evening. Kathy Maxwell from Ozark, Alabama. Down there in southeast Alabama. Jack Brock's watching us from Wedowee. Courtney McCain. Teresa Higgins is watching us from Woodland. We call that Woodland. Kelly McCain watching us this evening. Amanda Nash is in Roanoke. Mike Pittman is in LaGrange. Let's see, there's Bowden, Georgia, Wedowee. Amanda's in Georgia. Tin Chop Potash. Hello, Stephanie. There's Sylacauga. Dottie Lashley's in Roanoke. Donald DeLee from Alexander City. Scotty Daniel in Roanoke. Watching from Wetumpka. That's my buddy Maurice. Woodland Volunteer Fire Department watching us this evening. Good to have you with us. Jasmine's in Roanoke. Patricia's in Newell. Tanya is watching us this evening. Michelle is at Lake Wedowee. That's beautiful Lake Wedowee. Marcia's watching us from Luverne, Alabama. I know exactly where that's at. Best peanuts in the world come out of Luverne, Alabama. Stacy is in Wadley. Steve Cotney's watching us from Wadley. Michelle Walker from Cragford, Alabama. Annette East from Wedowee. Sherry watching from Noonan, Georgia. Jimmy Scroggins is in Hughley. Kathy's in Wadley. Samantha Langley is in Ashford. Pine Hill is watching us this evening. Nelda. Tammy Cunningham watching us up on the ridge. Be Broughton Ridge. There comes my valley, folks. Michelle is watching us from Lineville. Linda's in Roanoke. There's Providence. Lawrence is saying long days, next few days. Yeah, Lawrence, you're probably right. It's been a long month for me so far. For those of you who, you're welcome, Marilyn. Thank you. For those of you who normally follow Dr. Don's weather page, you've noticed that things look a little different than what they normally look. And that's because we've been working hard over here in Georgia. We've been standing up mass vaccination sites all across the state. And so I am managing the site in Clarksville, Georgia. That's up in Habersham County, along with a colleague of mine, Jonathan Jones. And we've been at it now for, the site's been open for, we're in our 4th week. We have done almost 20,000 shots in that 4-week period. We've been working the site now for about 5 weeks because it took about a week to get things set up. But there have been a lot of 16-hour days, and there'll be a lot more, I am sure. Very tiring, but, very rewarding. Very rewarding as well. I mean, we're lots of great folks. We have about 85 folks working this particular site, and so it's a great team effort from a lot of different folks. Jerome Cofield's watching us from North Randolph. Jayla Benefield is at Lake Wedowee. There's Lisa. Lisa's asking the question, what does the weather look like for Randolph the next 24 hours? You got thunderstorms tomorrow morning, which probably will not be severe, but they'll be strong. Mid-morning tomorrow morning. And then after 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, scattered thunderstorms. Some of those storms could go severe. And that will last throughout the afternoon into the evening hours. And then after midnight, probably toward 3 or 4, maybe 5 a.m. on Thursday morning, a line of thunderstorms will move through that also could produce organized severe weather. All modes of severe weather will be possible. That would include long track tornadoes, damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, and tennis ball size hail. So Lisa, to answer your question, throughout the day on Wednesday and into Thursday morning, you need to be weather aware. If you're in the Roanoke area, Randolph County, anywhere in East Alabama or West Georgia. There's Judy in Wadley. Shelly's also watching us in Wadley. Valley, Alabama, Lafayette. There's some more Wedowee folks. Alexander City. There's some folks down in Selma. You're welcome, Barry Bozeman. Great to see you in here, old friend. Woodland, LaGrange, Roanoke, New Site, and I'm just trying to get down to the end of the list here to see if anybody else is asking any questions. There's Cecilia. She's down in Chambers County. Thank you for watching us this evening, Cecilia. Jeremy says we need this rain. Actually, we do. We do have a deficit. I'm hoping after we finish this week, maybe we'll be close to catching up. But we do need the rain. All right, y'all are not asking many questions. Thank you, Becky Farr. If you have a question, let me have it. There's Dana Brooks. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, James. Now, folks, understand, and I was just talking about it, I am running a mass vaccination site in Northeast Georgia. And as I've always told you, there may come a day when we have a severe weather outbreak and I cannot go live. If it happens on Wednesday, I think it will primarily be late afternoon into Wednesday night. And if that be the case, I most likely will be here with you. But if we were to have something during the day, I will not be able to go live, but I will be posting information on Facebook. I'll still be getting the information to you. I just won't be able to go live if it's during daytime hours, 8 to 5 type stuff. Kaylin's asking if there was any mention of Alexander City, Dadeville, Jackson Gap. All of East Alabama. That if you live in Cleburne, Calhoun, Clay, Talladega, Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Elmore, Harris, Troup, Carroll. Those are our primary counties that we cover. If I named your county and you're watching, you're in a significant risk for severe weather on Wednesday night, and Thursday. Now, if you're anywhere in Alabama or if you're anywhere in Georgia, you got to be on your P's and Q's because you're also in a high risk for severe weather. Georgia, more likely Wednesday night into mid-morning Thursday. Alabama, 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon through about 5 or 6 a.m. Thursday morning. So this is going to be a widespread severe weather event, or at least the potential is widespread. It's not to say everybody's going to have severe weather. Some of you may not, but the potential is certainly wide-reaching across Alabama and Georgia. There's Potash Ridge. Yeah, so Dana's asking the question, any chance this falls apart prior to making it into East Alabama? Yeah, Dana, great question. There is always a bust factor to every significant weather forecast. And that not only applies to severe weather, but it certainly applies to winter weather. There's always something that can go wrong or go right, depending on how you want to look at it, that could prevent the forecast from coming true. I think in this particular case, there's going to be severe weather. But there are some things that could happen that could limit how widespread it ends up being. The setup is going to be there. You hear me use this analogy quite often. You have all the ingredients for the cake, but, do you mix it all up right to end up with a tasty cake after you get through cooking it? And so all the ingredients are definitely going to be here. And it looks like all the ingredients are going to come together at the right time to produce severe weather. But there's always a bust factor. I think the bust factor for this particular forecast is smaller. I think there's a greater chance that we will see severe weather this go around, but we'll have to wait and see. Oftentimes we get just a little bit closer to the event, we start to see much better resolution on the models and get a little better idea of exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, chance. We got a couple, 2 or 3 opportunities for severe weather. The first one will be on Wednesday morning, mid-morning, and I think there we don't see severe. We just see some strong thunderstorms. And then after 2 o'clock Wednesday, we see scattered thunderstorms, isolated thunderstorms. And then toward daybreak on Thursday, we have the main line move through, and that's where we could have organized severe weather. So we got two to three chances for having some significant weather here between tomorrow morning, looking out toward Thursday morning. All right, so Patricia is at Wind Creek Campground. Patricia, if you guys are going to be camping, I highly suggest you get out of there tomorrow morning. If the forecast is still the same when you wake up tomorrow morning, I suggest you pack up your camper and you go. We recently had some damaged motorhomes there at Wind Creek State Park. I believe it was last spring, if I remember correctly. We had some significant hail there. We had some of the, Wind Creek is full of those big tall pine trees. We had several trees fall on campers, and an RV is just not where you want to be during severe weather. So if you are camping and you wake up first thing tomorrow morning and the forecast is still the same, I highly suggest you evacuate the park and go to a site-built home or a much more sturdy structure. Thank you, Trudy. I appreciate your kind words. Kathy's asking if that would include Ozark. Ozark, Alabama is in the enhanced risk area. You're right there on the line between enhanced and moderate. And again, folks, please don't get caught up in the colors or the different level risk where you live. There's going to be a risk of severe weather for the entire state of Alabama. So yes, Kathy, that would include the Ozark area. All right, so here's a question. Any idea what parts would be in high risk? If I had to guess, I'm going to say northwest Alabama down to maybe Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, and west. If they do upgrade part of Alabama and go with a high risk, I would expect west and northwest Alabama to be in that high risk. The highest risk. The entire state's in a high risk, but the highest risk, if they upgrade, most likely would be northwest in west Alabama. That is Tornado Alley in Alabama. Demopolis, Tuscaloosa, Hamilton, up there in Walker County, West Birmingham, those folks They just get nailed every year. Yes, everything is good for tonight. No severe weather this evening. We've just got a few showers lingering out there along the I-85 corridor from actually starting back over in the Mississippi area around Demopolis, Alabama, and then back to Montgomery, and then along and just south of the I-85 corridor all the way back over toward Macon. Okay, so here's a question. Does Roanoke include tornado watch? We're not under a tornado watch. We're not under any kind of watch right now. That red that you see on the map is the risk area, the level of risk for severe weather on Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. We are under no watches or warnings anywhere in Alabama or Georgia right now. That certainly could change and may change tomorrow afternoon. Anniston, Alabama, you're in the same boat, same as everybody else. You've got a significant risk of severe weather tomorrow afternoon through Thursday morning early. Flight out of Atlanta, 7 Eastern. Is that AM or PM? Christy. So, yeah, there's going to be, if it's 7 a.m., there will be some showers in the area in the morning, but I don't think it would be anything that would prevent your flight from taking off. You might get delayed if there's some thunder showers around, but I don't see anything at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning that would prevent you from getting out of Atlanta. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about is 7 a.m. 7 p.m., however, if it happens to be 7 p.m., could be a totally different story. We could have some severe storms around at 7 p.m. tomorrow afternoon that could certainly delay or cancel some flights. Linda's asking the question, timing for Randolph County, anytime after 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Will it storm the entire time? No, it will not. We will have scattered storms tomorrow afternoon, and then the main line of organized storms will move through probably just before sunrise on Thursday morning. Beverly's down there in Enterprise, Alabama. I did several years down in Enterprise. Worked for WIRB. This was back in the mid-'80s. Not even sure that station's still there. Did a couple of years there and then went over to Dothan and worked for WTVY for 7 years. Hello, Montgomery, Alabama. Wadley. All right, so Ricky's asking, or Betty is asking if she'll have time to feed cows before it hits in Graham. Well, if you're talking about feeding in the morning, yeah, I think so. I mean, you're going to have some showers around in the morning. But I think it's mid-morning before any heavy rain moves in tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, like I said, scattered storms after 2 p.m., and then the main line coming in just before daybreak on Thursday. Kevin's got us going on in Cartersville, Georgia. Y'all are about to get a mass vaccination site. Actually, that thing opens tomorrow at Lake Point Mall. One of my colleagues is running that one. I was actually supposed to be in Cartersville tomorrow, but because of the threat of weather, I'm staying close to my site. There's Woodland, Rock Mills, Heard County. Okay, Christy's confirming. She's talking about 7. Would it be safe to fly out of Atlanta around 7 p.m. Wednesday? Or should I go with a 2 p.m. flight? I would go with a 2 p.m. flight. No question there. Definitely go with 2 p.m. I think your odds of getting out of Atlanta are better at 2 p.m. versus 7 p.m. And look, producer Tracy is talking about she's going to take that horn away from me. Give her a little shout out right there. Y'all, my wife has not seen me in the last 5 weeks. Literally, I come home, I go to bed, I get up, I'm gone before she even turns over. It's been a long 5 weeks, but well worth it. There's Potash Ridge, Napoleon, Alabama, Maryland. Cave Spring, Georgia. Yeah, Cody, y'all are going to see some of it too up there. I'm thinking that because of the timing, I really think that we may have a mess in East Georgia by noon or shortly after on Thursday, just because of the timing. It should move. I know you're in Northwest Georgia, but I'm just saying that brought to mind something else I wanted to say. If anybody's watching that is along and south of I-20 and along and east of I-75 in Georgia, you really need to pay attention Thursday. Omaha, there's Abel, Alabama. All right, so Brandy, let me talk to you about your anxiety. No need to get upset about this, okay? You know, tornadoes typically are not very wide. And if you look at it from a percentage standpoint, the odds of it striking the exact location where you are at any given time are pretty astronomical. The best way to deal with severe weather is to prepare yourself. That's the key to it. Folks who know what's going on and identify their safe place and understand what their plan's going to be when that weather radio goes off stand a huge chance of surviving severe weather unscathed. So that is what you can do. So just make sure you know where that safe place is in your home. Should be on the lowest floor, center part of that lowest floor, a closet, a restroom that does not have an exterior wall, under a staircase. You go to that location, you carry a bicycle helmet with you. You carry a mattress from a futon, a baby bed. You carry pillows in there with you. You make sure you have on hard-soled shoes, so in the event that there is some debris after the storm is over, you'll be able to maneuver. And you carry these things with you, and in the unlikely event that a tornado does strike your home and cause damage, odds are really good that you'll be safe in that location. Now, if you don't take those steps, and if you don't ensure that you can receive weather information and a warning is issued and a tornado's barreling down your street and you have no idea that it's coming, and you're sitting in the living room right next to a large window, and that storm strikes your home, now you're decreasing your chances of surviving. So there's so many things you can do to prepare yourself for it and to help ensure that you will get through it just fine. And you will. I promise you will. How many times you been through this, Brandy? How many times have you survived it, Brandy? See what I'm saying? You'll be just fine. Hey, Paula Banks. Okay, question about work in Anniston. Do you believe the traveling will be fair? It just depends on what time we're talking about, Cody. You know, after 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 4, 5, 6 a.m. Thursday morning, probably, at times will not be good travel. But it won't be storming that entire time. Well, thank you, Ed Cruz. I appreciate you watching us from Port Charlotte, Florida. It's pretty cool. Good evening, Chad Cook. Thank you, Paige. I appreciate your kind words. There's Troy, Alabama. I thought about going to Florida. I'm going to tell you something. I would, and I don't want to minimize things for Alabama and Georgia, but if I were in north central Mississippi, because of the timing of when it's going to come through that part of Mississippi, I'm not so sure I wouldn't consider going somewhere else. It'll be coming through Mississippi right in the middle of the heat of the day, and things could really get rough over there in Mississippi. And they could get rough in Alabama, too. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate your kind words. There's Cragford, more Valley folks. Swag. Okay, Cody, don't let my last name intimidate you, Dr. Don. You can butcher it. I don't mind. Kabetsky? I bet I didn't miss it by far. Kabetsky. Maybe. Cassandra's asking the question, how bad should it get in Roanoke? $64 million question, Cassandra. We all modes of severe weather will be possible, to include strong, long-track tornadoes, damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, and tennis ball-size hail. Will everybody see that kind of weather? Absolutely not. But a few of those could happen. Will it happen in Roanoke, or will it happen in Lineville, or will it happen in Alexander City? Or will it happen at all? Don't know. But the conditions will be there for that possibly to happen somewhere across Alabama, Georgia. So Summer is hanging out down at Panama City, obviously, and asking the question, do we think that Florida will get bad weather? I'll tell you that right now the Storm Prediction Center says that the chances down there on the Gulf Coast are not as high as what we will see across the rest of Alabama and Georgia. But it can't be completely ruled out down there either. So if, Shannon, if you're looking for a reason to go to Florida until Thursday afternoon, go. Willard's asking the question, do I see a lot of rain out of this system? Yeah, I think so. I think 1 to 2 inches will be common. Some localized areas could see 3+. Just depends on where the heavy thunderstorms set up. So I think we will get beneficial rainfall out of it. Okay, Ashley, let me address that. Ashley Strickland says the timing is long. This must be a long line of storms. That's a very, very good observation, Ashley, and let me address that. It is not going to storm the entire time. The window of opportunity opens at about 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and then runs until about 7 a.m. Thursday morning. And I think during that window of opportunity, it's going to work like this. After 2 o'clock, as we get the heating of the day started, we will see some individual widely scattered thunderstorms. It will not be a line of storms initially. We'll just have widely scattered thunderstorms that will pop up, and some of those storms could go severe. Some folks may not see a drop of rain tomorrow afternoon, while others may get very heavy thunderstorms and possibly severe thunderstorms. And then as we approach the wee hours of Thursday morning, I'm talking 3, 4, 5 a.m., Then an organized line of storms will move from west to east across Alabama, and then we're done. So scattered storms tomorrow afternoon, and then a line of organized storms early Thursday morning. It's not going to storm the entire time at your house between 2 p.m. Wednesday afternoon and 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Yeah, by mid-morning, Paige, everything should be out of East Alabama. Thank you, Joey Knight. Appreciate you. And Joey is one of our partners here on Dr. Don's weather page. So thank you, Joey. I appreciate that. If I live in Opelika in a mobile home, should I go to my in-laws that have a home with a basement for tomorrow and stay there through the night? If you can do that, yes. Brianna, that's a great plan, which brings up another topic I need to talk about. I'm not picking on mobile homes. Lived in many of them over the years. Have zero issues with mobile homes. But folks, they're not made. They can't be made to withstand 150, 200 mile an hour winds coming from a tornado. It's just a fact. And the problem we have here in the South is we have these big, tall pine trees that can cut one in half. So if you live in a mobile home, you've got plenty of time between now and tomorrow afternoon to make arrangements to find somewhere else to go. If you can do as Brianna's talking about, and you have a friend, a family member that has a site-built home, and you can go stay with that person the entire time of that window of opportunity tomorrow afternoon and during the overnight into Thursday morning, then do that. That's the best plan to have. The worst plan you could possibly have is staying in a mobile home. Yeah. That's correct. By about 9 o'clock Thursday morning, and maybe even before that, I think we'll be in the clear. Thank you, Dottie. I appreciate your kind words. Same thing for Springfield, Alabama. You're in East Alabama, same as everybody else. Right now, you're in a moderate risk category for severe weather Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and on Thursday. Brandy's asking a good question. Is there anything that indicates that the storms could possibly weaken by the time they get into East Alabama? I don't think so, Brandy, because of the setup. Ordinarily, coming through that time of the morning, that's the coolest part of the day, ordinarily that would weaken thunderstorms, but we have such veering taking place in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and by veering I mean that we have winds going in different directions and in different levels of the atmosphere. Strong jet stream, and we have winds veering in different directions in different sections of the altitude of the atmosphere. And so that's going to cause any thunderstorm that develops to start rotating. And that's what will spin the tornadoes up. So, and the veering has nothing to do with heating of the day. That's a jet stream thing. So ordinarily you would be correct, but in this particular setup, I'm just not thinking the timing is going to have a whole lot to do with it. All right, so Ricky's asking the same question. We live in a double wide and caretaker of an 87-year-old father-in-law. Do we need to find a shelter to go to? I would. I mean, that's the safest thing to do. Take the course of least regret. Err on the side of caution every single time. Thank you, Cassandra. Okay, Melissa's asking, what's the Tor Con Index? That's something the Weather Channel came up with several years ago. And it is, it's kind of hard to explain. There are several factors that the meteorologists at the Weather Channel use as an indicator for the possibility of tornadoes in a particular area. But the higher the number is on that scale, the higher the chance is. And I think last I heard, they were throwing like a 7 or 8 out of a possible 10 for portions of Alabama. That is not a National Weather Service product. That is something the Weather Channel does. I'd love to see a forecast bust, Brandy. That would be fantastic. Melissa's asking if I'll update you tomorrow morning. I will not. I will. I will do my regular morning primetime update, and then I'll be updating you on Facebook throughout the day. Yes. I won't do a live broadcast tomorrow morning. It'll be pre-recorded, but it'll have the latest information on it. Okay, I'm going to have to go all the way to the end of your questions here so I can get to the most current ones, and I'll back up a little bit because we're running way over now. Okay, so Betty's asking the question. I answered this earlier, but I'll answer it again. She's asking if I'll be able to go live tomorrow. If we have severe storms during the day, most likely I will not be able to go live. I will be providing you with information on Facebook. I'll be posting information from the Weather Service, and I'll do everything I can to keep you updated if it happens during the daylight hours. But I honestly think our best chance for severe is going to be after sunset. Though we could see some severe storms tomorrow afternoon, there's no question about that. The organized severe weather, though, will most likely come early Thursday morning. And if that pans out, and if it works out that way, yes, I'll be on live with you then. But during the day tomorrow, I have too many obligations with the paying job. Question here, do I think Alabama will increase to a 5 out of 5 risk? I think there are parts of Alabama that certainly could. I think it would primarily be northwest Alabama. I would be a little bit surprised if East Alabama went to a level 5. But again, folks, please don't put a lot of stock into the different colors, the different levels, because I can guarantee you one thing. There's not a thunderstorm out there right now that's planning on coming to Alabama and is going to stop because you're not in purple. It doesn't work that way. So it's okay to understand what the different colors mean. They're just different levels of risk is all it is. But don't get caught up in that. A tornado that touches down in your front yard with a marginal risk of severe weather is just as significant as a tornado that touched down in your front yard with a high risk of severe weather. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Thank you, Coach Carolyn. I appreciate those kind words. That's the coach behind the coach right there. My favorite people. Well, and here's some folks talking about comparing this to April 27th of 2011, I think it was. Folks, that was a once-in-a-lifetime event that I hope none of us ever have to live through again. And while we could see some significant weather tomorrow and tomorrow night and into Thursday morning, You know, I can't tell you that this looks like the same type setup we had that day. Just know that there is a good risk of severe weather tomorrow. How common are busted forecasts? So yeah, I mean, we had, and I think it was our fall severe weather season, or maybe it was spring last year. We had a setup very similar to this, and actually saw a very limited severe weather outbreak. On the other hand, we have had events that didn't look like it was going to amount to much, and we ended up with some pretty significant damage out of it. So I don't know that there's a number out there as to how common a busted forecast is, but there's always that possibility. Question about Phoenix City. Anytime after 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Ashley, severe weather in West Georgia anytime after 3 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday afternoon. Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, early evening, and then organized severe weather along a cold front that'll sweep through early Thursday morning. Yeah, I don't question here again about the chances of the line weakening before it gets into Alabama, or before it gets into East Alabama. And ordinarily that opportunity certainly would be there, more so because of the time of the day that it's going to come through. But again, you have to understand, this is not a heating of the day type setup necessarily. We have veering at the different levels of the atmosphere that's going to cause thunderstorms to rotate. So if a thunderstorm can get going, there's a high likelihood it could start rotating. Now, all thunderstorms rotate to a certain degree, or they wouldn't be classified as a thunderstorm. But we're talking about rotating thunderstorms that could, in this case, produce tornadoes. So I don't think the timing of the day is going to have a whole lot. Unfortunately, I don't think timing of the day is going to limit the severe possibilities or potential with this particular storm system. Thank you, Trudy Green. Yes, absolutely. So also remind everybody how important it is to know your geographic location. All right, folks. I've talked about this many times before. If you will go to Dr. Don's weather page on Facebook, you will find a map of the state of Alabama. And so learn where your county is located in the state, so that when a severe weather statement is issued for a particular county, and they tell you which direction the storm is moving in, you will know if it's about to impact your county or not. When I went through school, they taught that. You had to name every county in the state of Alabama. And unfortunately, that's not taught now, I don't think. And we have a whole generation of folks who really don't know exactly where their county is in relation to other counties in the state of Alabama and Georgia too. So find you a map of the state of Alabama. If you're in Georgia, find a map of the state of Georgia. Print it out. Stick it on your refrigerator. Put it on the wall next to your television. Keep it on the nightstand or the end table or the coffee table. And when a severe weather warning is issued for a county, look on the map and find where it's at, and look on the map and find where you live. And that way you can determine if the storm's coming towards you or not. Yeah, Betty says they had to draw the whole map. I think we did too, now that you say that. Deborah brings up a good point. Everybody should make sure they change their batteries in their weather radios and make sure you got good fresh batteries in there. Well, the warnings are issued by county. But then in most warnings, they will tell you which towns it's going to affect as well. In other words, they'll issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Clay County, Alabama, affecting the towns of Lineville and Ashland. So if you don't necessarily know where Clay County is, and you're in Randolph County, but you know where Lineville and Ashland is, then you would know that storm is west of you, and if the storm's moving east at 40 miles an hour, it'll be on top of you in Randolph County in about 30 minutes or so. Is this my hobby or is this a career? Well, it's kind of both. I spent 25 years in broadcast radio in East Alabama. And so a lot of my faithful followers back then learned that I would be there during severe weather. Weather's always kind of been my thing, kind of a weather geek. And so I moved away back in 2011 to North Georgia. And then when technology caught up with us up here and allowed me to start doing this over the internet, then we started this about 2 years ago, providing severe weather information for East Alabama and West Georgia. And heck, sometimes we even go out further than that if we've got a particularly bad situation going on. And I also work, my daytime paying job is emergency management. And I deal with the natural disaster and man-made disaster side of things ordinarily, even though currently we're dealing with a pandemic. But typically I deal with hurricanes and tornadoes. So yeah, part of it's a career and part of it's a hobby. Yeah, so I was talking about this character a few minutes ago when we were talking about the mass vaccination sites that were running across the state of Georgia. I told you I had an incredible person working with me, and there he is, Jonathan Jones. So I can't talk about him now. I know he's listening. Silas, you have no idea how interesting my journey has been. But I certainly appreciate your kind words and your comments. Betty, and we're so grateful for your weather geekness. You crack me up, Betty. All right, folks, I got to go because I got to be, Jonathan and I have got to go. We have both got to be, well, I'll be at work at 6 a.m. That's Eastern time. He may come stumbling in around, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And he doesn't even bring me donuts anymore. So, all right, one more quick time, then we're out of here. Severe weather threat right now, moderate severe weather threat for most of the state of Alabama and into West Georgia for Wednesday. We will have a couple of 2 or 3 opportunities for weather on Wednesday. Mid-morning tomorrow morning across East Alabama, we could have some strong storms, but I don't think that's where the severe weather will be. Then after the strong storms move through mid-morning tomorrow in East Alabama, there should be a little lull in the action. And then anytime after 2 p.m., we could start seeing some widely scattered severe thunderstorms. It will not be storming in everybody's house after 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but there could be some severe storms around. Those storms will be singular, so they could go supercell, and that could spawn tornadoes. And that will continue throughout the afternoon. Will probably weaken a little bit as we get into the nighttime hours. And then toward daybreak on Thursday morning, here comes the cold front itself. And along that line, we could have organized severe weather as it sweeps through Alabama and through West Georgia early Thursday morning. So having said that, make sure you have a good source of severe weather information. You know what to go to first. That's NOAA Weather Radio. Make sure you have a good app on your phone. Make sure you know where to go if a tornado warning is issued for your location. That would be on the lowest floor, center room with no exterior walls. Take a bicycle helmet, pillows, mattress into this area with you and your family. Everybody should wear a helmet. And make sure you have hard-sole shoes on. And that's where you would shelter until the storm passes. If you live in a mobile home, make plans now to go somewhere else. Do not wait until a tornado warning is issued. It's too late. Worst thing you can do is wait until a warning is issued and then jump in your car and try to go across town to Uncle Ben's house. It's too late. Now you're taking yourself out of a horrible situation and putting yourself in an almost impossible situation in that you left a mobile home to get an automobile. That's even worse than a mobile home. So go ahead and make plans now on where you're going to go. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody that's got a place where you can go to get out of a mobile home. You do not want to take that risk. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I will be here with you through this tomorrow. We're hoping that any widespread severe weather will be, if it has to happen at all, we're hoping that it will hold off until that last surge going into early Thursday morning. If that be the case, I'll be here live with you. If we have severe weather breakout during the day tomorrow, I will be posting information for you on Facebook. I bet I have donuts in the morning. I've got everybody in Alabama on Jonathan's back now. All right, folks, I could stay here with you all night. You know that, but I've got to go to bed. I've got to get some rest. Another big day tomorrow. Hey, we're doing about 2,000 people a day at our mass vaccination site. We just went to our second dose Monday, and we went from 1,000 a day to 2,000 a day. We will hit our 20,000th shot at this one site probably tomorrow if little John Boy shows up and works tomorrow. We can make that happen. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your evening. I will have a short update for you first thing tomorrow morning. Then we'll post information throughout the day. If we have severe weather tomorrow night, I'll be here live with you from Dr. Don's weather page. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye now.